Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show, here with you for the next hour over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, Sirius XM. Channel 80, number to call up as always is 866-729-3776. That's 866-SAY-ESPN. I'm distracted. Please forgive me for being distracted by news. I'm watching the news channels right now. North Korea has just fired a ballistic missile. 74-day reprieve from testing their missiles. They launched one just a few minutes ago. Let me get back to sports. I'll just leave it at that. Something happened yesterday in the National Basketball Association that really, really, really got on my nerves. I can't put into words how ticked off I am about this. It is necessary for me to say this. David Fizdale, head coach for the Memphis Grizzlies, was fired. Team has been struggling, has lost 8 straight. I think their record was like, 7-11 or 8-11, something along those lines. He was fired. He got screwed. We can slice it any way we want to. He got screwed. We can slice it any way we want. The man got screwed over. Took him to the playoffs last year. Was considered a very good young coach. The Greg Popoviches of the world and others spoke up on his behalf. Was an assistant in Miami for years. LeBron James tweeted about him being a fall guy. Dwayne Wade wanted an investigation, an explanation. They played for him as players. He was an assistant coach in Miami when they won those 2 rings, when they went to 4 straight NBA finals. He got screwed. There is no reason this man should have lost his job. None. Now, according to my sources and Adrian Wojnarowski, our NBA insider extraordinaire, also reported this. There was beef between him and Marc Gasol. It's been going on for quite some time. And the other day when David Fizdale elected to bench Marc Gasol for the 4th quarter in a loss because they were down by about 19 points and the reserve brought them back to within 5, and David Fizdale wanted to leave them back in the game, and he didn't want Marc Gasol, back in the game. Marc Gasol was livid. He was professional in what he said, but he made it very, very clear he was not happy. According to my sources, he made that very, very clear to management. Management made the call to let David Fizdale go because they hadn't been getting along. I know Marc Gasol could play. Marc Gasol ain't LeBron James. Marc Gasol ain't Kobe in his prime. Or Shaq in his prime. Marc Gasol are not these people. Marc Gasol is not Steph Curry. Marc Gasol is not Russell Westbrook. He's not these people. You're going to get rid of this man? Really? Really? I'm sick to my stomach. I really, really am. And the owner for the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, listen, GM Chris Wallace, I haven't seen him in a long time, but he's a good man. And I'm certainly not going to excoriate him, but I got to tell you, it's just amazing to me that this guy, this owner, would make this call, allow this call to be made, if not flat out made it himself. It really, really, really bothers me. Robert Perra. So Lionel Hollins is there. After taking them to the Western Conference Finals and winning 56 games, you get rid of him. Then Dave Yeager's there, having some success. You get rid of him. And now David Fizdale just took him to the playoffs. And, you're going to get rid of him less than 20 games into the season because you're on some losing streak. Now, J.B. Bickerstaff, who did a relatively decent job as the interim coach in Houston after Kevin McHale got fired, finds himself in a similar situation now in Memphis. But it's still bogus. Absolutely, positively bogus. If I'm anybody, I'm really, really questioning whether or not I'd want that Memphis job. Marc Gasol? I understand he could play. He's no scrub. He's been to a few All-Star games. I get all that. But Marc Gasol could get you fired. How much security can you have? Marc Gasol. You got to be kidding me. What a damn shame. David Fizdale lands someplace else. But the man is special. Man's a hell of a young coach. He got screwed over. Plain and simple. 866-729-3776. That's 866-SAY-ESPN. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Andre in Newark. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Yes, how you doing, Stephen A?
I'm all right. Talk to me.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, would you consider Lonzo Ball a bust now?
A bust?
Yes.
No, I just want to hold out on that, man. He's a kid. His first 20 games in the NBA. I don't want to do that to him. I will tell you, I am petrified that he's going to be. Mm-hmm. I'm scared, but I'm rooting for him, and I'm prayerful that it won't end up that way because I want him to succeed and I want Magic to succeed. But I got to tell you right now, Lonzo Ball, listen, I you know what? I don't know can I say this? No, John, can I say this? I don't know who's worse. Lonzo Ball or Ntilikina? Frank Ntilikina for the Knicks. I mean, you talk about a guy that just doesn't give me anything. Ntilikina doesn't give me anything. I really don't know why he's on the court. And I'm not saying he can't defend. I'm not saying he doesn't serve any purpose. But you talk about a guy that's just blah, that just has, to me, zero impact. It's him. And with Lonzo, I'm just seeing a 1 for 7 shooting, 1 for 6 from three-point range, 23% three-point shooting, 30% shooting from the field. In 30 years, no NBA player in their first 20 games of their careers, Andre, has shot worse than Lonzo Ball. That's just bad, bro. That's just bad, and it's making Magic Johnson look very bad. I sincerely hope Lonzo gets it together because I really genuinely like the kid. I'm not rooting. First of all, I wouldn't root against any of them anyway, but I'm especially not rooting against him. But I am very, very petrified right now, Andre, based on what I'm seeing from his game.
Okay, and one more question. Do you think the Cavs, I know that Boston been on the little streak or whatever, but do you think the Boston Celtics have enough to take on LeBron, especially how he's playing now?
No. I think that LeBron looks unreal. I think that when Isaiah Thomas comes back, it's going to be even worse. And I also think that LeBron just looks massive. LeBron he looks like a linebacker playing against Pop Warner kids. That's how big he looks compared to these guys out on the court. They can't mess with him, man.
Okay. Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Let's take care. Let's go back to Kennedy. You're live with Stephen A. Kennedy. Hopefully your signal's better now. What's up?
Hopefully. Is it good? Can you
yes,
hear me well?
Yes, it is. It's better. Much better. Go ahead.
Okay. What I wanted to say is, first and foremost, I am a fan. Always been a fan. It's my first time calling.
Thank you.
I've been in the Army for 17 years, and I'm an officer, and I consider myself to be a professional. And as an African-American, when I saw that fight between those two guys that I will not name, it hurt me. And I also said it at that very moment. I said it set us back. And I heard what the other gentleman talked about, and what he made some valid points about the perception about us is already out there, and that's not going to change the narrative. But you have a platform. And we are in a time right now where, the example has already been made with Kaepernick. We know he's been blackmailed. We know, not blackmailed, but we know he's been blackballed in the league.
Right.
But we have an opportunity to stand together and continue to, unite and bring forth the message that he's been trying to bring forth for the past year and so. And I understand emotions get involved when things happen on the field. And like you said, you took the words out of my mouth, because that's what you have a license. Football is a competitive sport. Oh, I know they got to throw you the ball. Or I know you got to set up a block. Next time you come, I'm coming after you. But to go through blows and then to go after each other for more blows and to continue to go after each other, helmets off, and you're swinging punches, and that is just nasty. That was embarrassing. They should be embarrassed. I know you said the 2 games was enough, man. I wouldn't be mad at the league suspending them for the remainder of the season. And I understand sometimes some people could say that's going too far, but let me tell you right now, man, when soldiers get in trouble or they do something, their careers are pretty much over. Their pay is being taken away without the worry about their bills and their family.
Let me interrupt you, Kennedy. I get your point, and I appreciate your passion, but it's important that you understand that these are games that's being played, whereas you're soldiers defending our country and putting your life on the line. So the mistakes that you make can cost you and others their actual lives. Whereas in the sport of football, when you're fighting on a football field, it's a pretty slim to none chance that that's not going to happen. That's the difference. So I understand where you're coming from, but to put things in its proper perspective, I don't think it's right to compare football players to soldiers like yourself, because you live in 2 different worlds.
And I do agree with that. It's just when you look at it from a professional standpoint, and this happens even when you're not in combat. Soldiers, when they jack up, whether it's like how you like to say, smoke the weed.
That's right. I got to interrupt you because we got to get ready to go. I got to go to a hard break, but I appreciate the call, man, and I definitely appreciate your passion, and I thank you for your service to our country. I truly appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. 866-729-ESPN, 866-SAY-ESPN. More to Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio in a minute.
Catch the Stephen A. Smith Show live on 98.7 ESPN New York, ESPN LA 710, and SiriusXM Channel 80.
You just can't make this stuff up.
Weekdays from 1 to 3 Eastern.
Hey girl, have you done something new with your scales? Using new moisturizer? Nice. It really brings out the hazel in your eyes. Oh, hold on. Are you using whitening strips too? Your fangs look good, girl. Really good.
A really charming snake charmer? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Wait, what? Have you been doing Pilates too?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
To the calls right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Let's go to Chad in Rockland. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Chad? Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A., how you doing? I just want to know regarding the Knicks, if David Fizdale, I know he just got released, and I know the Knicks are moving really well with Hornacek, but if David Fizdale is available in the offseason, do you go after him?
I think him or Mark Jackson. Why not Mark Jackson?
I love Mark Jackson. I love him, but
New York ties. See, the problem is New York Knicks don't need just basketball. You need somebody with New York ties that people have faith in when the coach speaks every night and he says, believe in us, and he's holding people accountable and all of those different things. I'm not saying it has to be that way, but because of how dysfunctional the Knicks franchise has been for so long, I think it's important to go that route. That's just where I'm at with it.
I get you. I definitely understand you. And also just want to say I've been a Knicks fan since I was in the womb, and it warms my heart to see them doing well, especially with the unicorn up front.
Well, you're saying they're doing well. They've lost 3 straight. Lord knows how many more they're going to lose. They have, listen, they're getting a bit exposed now that teams are getting their legs under them, and they understand what they're dealing with now. It's a little bit different now, bro. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. It just
lost to Portland last night.
Competitive.
Portland ain't that good of a team. Portland was up 20. They went on a 14-0 run to try to close the gap, but they were down 20 on Portland. Portland, all right, but they shouldn't be up 20 on the Knicks. Sorry. I don't believe it. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Barron. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Barron?
Hey, Stephen. First of all, huge fan. Wanted to ask you in regards to that Greg Schiano scandal. I missed your the podcast when you talked about it. It's called Work. But do you know exactly what he knew in regards to the
None of us do. None of us do. Here's what happened. A graduate assistant by the name of Mike McQuarrie said in a deposition that an assistant coach, Tom Bradley, told him that Greg Schiano may have known something about what Sandusky was doing. Greg Schiano emphatically denied it. Tom Bradley denied knowing anything or saying anything of such a thing, of such a nature. And that is that. We know
One
nothing.
last question. Does that hurt him from, again, getting a big-time college job?
Hell yeah. Well, first of all, I don't think he's going to get a big-time college job anyway. Tennessee is mid-level, not mid-major, but mid-level. But the point is, I don't think it was going to help him get a big-time job anyway. But I will tell you this. It definitely ruined it now. If I was him, I would be considering a lawsuit. I'd probably sue Tennessee. We signed an agreement that I was going to come on board, and you reneged. No way. No way. I would probably sue. Because think about it. If Tennessee hadn't promised him the job, right?
Right.
Would we be talking about Schiano and all of this right now?
No.
We wouldn't be even talking about it. Now this man's name is associated with child molestation just because people didn't want him to get the job. How fair is that, man?
No, it's not.
It's criminal. Absolutely criminal. Appreciate the call. Larry, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off of what that guy just said, I just want to know what the hell is going on in Tennessee. At the end of the day, I think what's happening, what we're seeing is management not necessarily making decisions based off of what is best for that particular program. We're seeing this with Tennessee. We're seeing this what happened with the Memphis Grizzlies. And I just think it's crazy that both of these are coming out of the same state where you see two drastic coaching changes where, Schiano.
Well, I wouldn't call Butch Jones a drastic coaching change, but I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? It's just, to me, I feel, especially with the Schiano situation, what coach is going to really want that job now? First of all, you're in one of the most competitive conferences in the SEC. Every year, your measuring stick is Nick Saban. So you have to think now, if the social media has the ability to determine your job security, and you're the athletic director, and you're in your mind, you're like, all right, I'm making decisions based off of what's best for my program. You can be easily swayed by social media. What reputable coaches want to go there?
Exactly. That's exactly the problem that they have. And I appreciate the call, Larry. Thank you so much. 866-SAY-ESPN. Back with your calls and more in a minute. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! Minutes past hour number 2 right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Let's get back to the calls at 866-729-ESPN, 866-SAY-ESPN. Let's go to James in Manhattan. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, James?
Good afternoon and blessings to you, sir.
Thank you.
I've been a Knicks fan since 1979. I've seen good teams and terrible teams and almost championship teams. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you, because I do respect your opinion. This is my first time getting through, but I've been listening to you for years. How good do you think Frank Ntilikina can be? Do you think he can be a good to very good point guard? And do you think this Knicks team can possibly squeak into the playoffs?
What I can tell you about Frank Ntilikina is that he does not move me at all. He's only averaging about 19 minutes a game. He's averaging about 4.7 points per game. I'm just not impressed with him at all. He hasn't been able to shoot. He's almost got Lonzo Ball numbers, 34% from the field, 25% from three-point range. He just seems so pedestrian, so ordinary. He can play defense, don't get me wrong, but there's no wow factor with him at all. And I guess for me, when you're a top 10 pick, when I see, Dennis Smith Jr. picked after you, a Malik Monk picked after you, a Donovan Mitchell in Utah picked after you, I'm upset.
No, I understand, and I feel you. And I think he also lacks good basketball instinct. I think he makes some plays.
I don't know about that. I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon to gauge that. But the same things I've said about Lonzo Ball: suspect shot, lack of aggression offensively. That's Ntilikina.
And what do you think about the Knicks?
They've lost 3 in a row. I'm not surprised. I anticipated that it would happen, but I'm just not overly impressed. They lost at Atlanta after having a lead. They had like a 19-point lead at Houston, lost that game, and then last night they were down 20, losing to Portland. To me, Miami and Orlando are next at the Garden. I don't think that they'll win both of those games. So I'm kind of down about it. I expected more from them. I'm not happy that I haven't seen more. I think Porzingis is an elite number 2 option. He is not a number 1 option. And I think all those things don't serve the Knicks well.
Fans, and I think their future is very bright. So at least we have that to look forward to.
Gotcha. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Dominic, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Stephen A., how you doing, man?
I'm good. Talk to me.
Now, see, when you talk about David Fizdale and you talk about the fight that happened in Oakland and, Crabtree and Akeem Talib, it just shows that the African-American margin for error in sports is so small, man. And
absolutely.
It's really disappointing to see and disappointing to be a part of it.
But before you go any further, let's be clear. It's hard to accuse Memphis of that because they did the same thing to Dave Yeager, too. Even though he lasted a few years. Remember, they screwed over Lionel Hollins after he had been there for years. But then they screwed over Dave Yeager.
Right.
So it's hard.
And, just for them to be bashing, Crabtree and Akeem Talib, and we know that I heard your point earlier saying that the sport is violent in and of itself, but you have hockey who are, that's just as violent a sport if you ask me. They're able to smash each other in the walls and they running in, even though they're on skates, but they're going in each other full speed without traction. And they fight all the time. They're able to punch each other in the face and do all that stuff. Even though that's allowed in the sport, that's permitted for a certain amount of time. And
what are you talking about? Not what we saw with Talib and Crabtree Sunday.
I've seen the game. I don't watch hockey, but I saw it on SportsCenter. I couldn't even tell you who won this game. There were times where the puck dropped and they all dropped their gloves, and everybody on the ring started to fight. Everybody started to fight. Do you remember that?
I do not remember. But the point is that it shouldn't have happened. It can't happen, and I think they deserve the suspension. But I got to go. I appreciate the call, Dominic. Thanks a lot. Chris in L.A., you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, Stephen A., good afternoon.
I'm all right.
I just wanted to touch on the comment you made. I didn't get a chance to hear Kevin Durant's quote, but I'm going to just go ahead and touch on the comments you made regarding being African-American male myself, the way we dress, the way we speak, the way we go about our day is under a different microscope because obviously we are the minority, and it's just unfortunate because that's the world we live in. And with that being said, it's tough because I was always told by my mom, if you may not like a job, but you go out there, you do the best you can because you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about the people after you. If you're out there, you're not handling your business, you're doing a bad job, you think they're going to hire another person that may look like you when it's already a few of you guys to begin with. So that's just something that I've always been taught, and it's been embedded in my mind, and it's just the way I go about my day and my business.
No,
so
absolutely.
I don't know what do you have to say regarding that.
You're absolutely right about that. That's exactly the approach you're supposed to have. It's supposed to be you're supposed to be transcendent. You're supposed to be thinking about something more than just yourself. And not enough of these guys are doing that. Not when you see the kind of stuff that you saw with Crabtree and Talib. Got yourself suspended. In the midst of these protests, you're going to let something like this happen? To a lesser degree, same thing with A.J. Green and Jalen Ramsey. At that particular moment in time, you really going to do that? You don't understand the kind of microscope you're under?
Right. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. But that's all I want to touch on, Stephen.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Rico, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, how's it going? Stephen A., big fan, man. Big fan.
Thank you, bro. Go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to comment on the Greg Schiano incident. I think the fact that he's not a proven coach, pretty mediocre record, another Northeast Coast coach that we took, I just don't think the Tennessee fans just wanted that. As far as the child molestation,
yeah, but that's not the issue. The issue is where they were willing to go just to keep him from getting the job.
Just in this day of time where child molestation, rape is kind of high alert right now. I think that just kind of hurt his chances. It's debatable whether he was associated with it or not. But all in all, as a full package, I just don't think he was suitable for UT, and I think that's what drove him out. And also, I'm not really sure if he's even able to sue because not all 4 members who are supposed to sign that can't remember the actual name of the contract, but the Board of Trustees signs it, the AD, the coach that is about to come into the program, and I'm pretty sure the chancellor has to sign it, and I'm pretty sure only 3 at the time signed it. So I don't think he'll be able to sue.
We'll find out. We'll definitely find out. Appreciate the call, Rico. Thank you. Brian and Cali, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Brian.
You know what? Been watching the Steelers since I was 5 years old, and Big Ben Roethlisberger has been always the poster child for the guy that gets his butt kicked constantly. Plays better when he's getting his butt kicked. But I wanted to give a special thank you to you because somebody had to light a fire underneath this guy's you-know-what.
That's right.
To get him to go, you know what? You're losing your pride. Your pride is the number one thing that most athletes at this caliber are running on. And for some reason, he lost his. And I'm telling you what, since the comment you made that told him, hey, everybody is watching the number one spot, which is you.
That's right.
You got to represent this Pittsburgh Steelers organization. 3 coaches in the franchise history. I mean, the Patriots, Green Bay, those 3 franchises are supposed to stand for something.
Hey, listen, man, I will never take back what I said. At the particular moment in time that I said what I said when I said go to hell home, it was because he talked about retiring after losing the AFC Championship game. He talked about it again over the summer. And then after they lost 30-9 in Jacksonville and he threw 5 interceptions, he said, maybe I don't have it anymore. Maybe I need to just step away. And I'm like, I don't need that type of attitude from him. You're a 2-time champion and a future Hall of Famer. With Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and Martavis Bryant and Jesse James and Eli Rogers and Juju Smith-Schuster and all of these boys with a good offensive line. There ain't no damn excuses. What the hell is this? I did not want to hear that from him. And I stand by it. And I don't regret it one bit, Brian. And you see how they try to change the narrative, where I sat up there. Did you see him talking to the media just the other day, 5 weeks after I made the comment, talking about, people saying that I don't have, I'm not working hard. I don't want to sacrifice. I never said that, Brian. I said, based on your words and how you've looked, it's like you don't want to play no more. We can't afford to have that. And I stand by it, Brian. That's exactly how I felt at that particular moment in time. And at that particular moment in time, if it had happened again, I'd say it again. I have no regrets, Brian.
It's true. You can't mess with the truth. 9 times out of 10, people are scared to death of something like that. But you know what? It's needed. When the truth is the truth, you throw it out there. Imagine the offensive linemen that are sitting there blocking their you-know-what off for somebody that doesn't really care as much, and maybe I ain't got it. Look at those offensive linemen in the face after they're getting their butts kicked, and they're protecting you, and you're going to be like, well, maybe I don't got it no more. So much appreciated on this end. I appreciate the awakening comments and the stones it took to say it. So mad props.
Thanks a lot, my man. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself. 866-729-ESPN, 866-SAY-ESPN. Your calls to close out the show in a minute. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Want to be a part of the show? Hit Stephen A. up weekdays from 1 to 3 Eastern at 866-729-3776.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Eric, you're live with Stephen A. real quick. Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A., listen, so the Redskins play the Cowboys this Thursday night, but I want you to put your GM hat on for me and let me know if you think that Kirk Cousins, I know he's a franchise quarterback, but would
I don't
you
think
give
he
him
is.
the Andrew? So,
he's very good. He just never wins when it counts.
But would you give him the Andrew Luck deal, 5 years, $120 million plus?
No. I would not give Kirk Cousins 5 years, $120-something million. I just couldn't do it. But then again, I'm not the Redskins, and the Redskins might be forced in a different type of situation. So you might have a point there. I got to run, buddy. Thank you. Mike, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, Mike from Pittsburgh. Outstanding. You make me want to shout. Hey, I appreciate your views in paragraph form. People don't listen to you, all the sentences. I take it Pittsburgh 5 weeks ago and Pittsburgh today. Appreciate and respect your views. I did want to make a comment on the Bronco and Raider fiasco.
Yes, sir.
56 years old. I remember back in the day where brothers didn't screw over brothers in the city, in the workplace, or in sports. Times sure have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, it has. I mean, I think that the money has individualized a lot of people, and they speak about coming together collectively, but it's not just brothers, it's not just black folks, it's all of us. As a society, we get caught up in us. We get caught up in now. We get caught up in what the great John Chaney, former basketball coach at Temple, always told me was the microwave society. Instant gratification, and it's about self. And on far too many occasions, we're not transcendent individuals who think beyond ourselves for the betterment of the whole. This is why I encourage people to listen to everyone from the Joe Madisons to the Karen Hunters and others. No matter what your political views are, anybody that's about something. Even, listen, I'm not a conservative, but I listen to Mark Levin every chance I get. The great one. I'm a fan of his radio show. And Sean Hannity is crazy. He's nuts. But I've known him for years, and I like him, even though I know he can be crazy. I know that whether it's on the left with the two that I mentioned in Madison or Karen Hunter, or the right with Hannity and Mark Levin, I know that they're individuals who devoutly believe what they believe. And all you could do is respect it and try to find the truth wherever that may be. And that's what you do. And that's all you can do, Mike, and move forward with the kind of love in your heart, the kindness in your heart, and the consciousness that you need to have in order to contribute to making society better for us all. That's all you could do.
Stuff.
All right? Thank you, buddy. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Daryl and Cali. You're live with Stephen A. What's up? Daryl. Daryl, are you there? Mike in Jersey, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, go.
Hey, Stephen. Well, the Bulls right now, they got a good pick in Lowry. Zach LaVine's coming back, and Chris Dunn looks like a top 5 pick, in addition to the top 3 pick that they're going to get this year, and they got a huge cap room. Where do you see the Bulls in the future?
I think the Bulls will get better. I just don't think Hoiberg's the right coach for the job. I think Hoiberg is made for college. I think he should be back at Iowa. I don't think that Iowa State, whichever one he was at, I don't think that he was made for the NBA. I think that he was made for college. Very nice man, knowledgeable about the game of basketball, but I think it takes a little something extra to coach multimillionaire athletes, and I don't think that's his forte. He's better suited for college. I think they need to get a guy made for the NBA. That's just what I believe. I appreciate the call. Mike, you're live with Stephen A. real quick. Got to run. Go ahead, Mike.
Hi, Stephen. I'm a huge fan of everything you have to say.
Thank you.
Real quick, I want to talk about Hakeem Talib and Crabtree. Let's think about the psychology behind this.
Mm-hmm.
How NHL players are allowed to fight. Now, I'm a white man, so I'm going to be basically.
I just need to rush you because you only got 45 seconds. So go ahead. Hurry up real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to be going against the grain. So the reason why people don't have a problem with hockey players fighting, it's because basically they're white. And when they see two black men fighting, it perpetuates the stereotype. And it's a shame that it has to be like that, but people don't want to accept that. And
well,
that's all I want to
I
say.
applaud your courage for admitting something like that. I applaud your courage for admitting that. You didn't have to do that. And that just shows that your conscience is in the right place. And it shows that when you want truth and when you want fairness and things of that nature, you don't always have to look in one direction. It comes in all colors, shapes, and sizes. You can find the truth, and you can find people with good hearts, good minds, and souls everywhere. And that's what gives us all hope to move forward. It's unfortunate that we have to attach such subjects to the sports world, that we can't just limit ourselves to the games that are being played. But that's the world that we're living in right now, because everything has invaded everything else. And that's just where we are. But we can continue to march forward and be productive for everybody's sake and make sure we all have a good time. 22 hours from now, I'll talk to y'all then. This is Stephen A. Smith, signing off. Peace and love.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.